now I have time, but I still have stuff to do. And I got in trouble for not clocking out and then finishing what I had to do.
So they wanted you to clock out, but then continue to work.
Yes. My boss would literally be like, you just have to clock out right at 9 and then finish whatever you have to do. Which is actually against the law.
No, 100%.
Everyone, welcome to Trevor Talks Too Much. I'm mad. And I'm your host, Trevor Everts, Master Baker, Mythical Soft Boy, Dodger of Jury Duty. And today we're talking about different life paths. I know I seem very mad in that intro just to say we're talking about something like that. Today we're going to talk about different life paths. It's something that I've thought about a lot and I've encountered a lot just like in my personal life with people that I know, and like just how everyone, is on a different path and can do different things at different ages, and nobody has to be the same. There's not a blueprint that you have to follow. But anyway, back to jury duty, because that wasn't a joke. And I'm very tired right now because I was up like 2 hours earlier this morning than I normally am, talking to a robot over the phone, trying to get out of jury duty. Okay, because jury duty is so dumb.
It is, though.
I live in a subsection of Los Angeles called the Valley. Okay, in this valley are cities such as, but not limited to, Glendale, right? Glendale's in the valley. Burbank, San Fernando. It's called the San Fernando Valley. That's not important. I live in Burbank. Downtown Los Angeles is not close to me at all.
No, it is not.
It is very far away. But they wanted me to drive to downtown Los Angeles at 7:45 a.m. and go decide someone's fate. I don't even understand how jury duty works, to be clear. Again, more evidence that I shouldn't be going. But I guess the way jury duty works is like you're on call. So like
yes.
You have a service week and then you have to check. One, this is also a really stupid thing, because if you're going to like schedule me for jury duty, let me plan for it. But the way that jury duty works, it's like at 7 p.m., you have to check online or call them to see if you need to be in the next day. So like at 7 p.m., that's when you have to start planning for whether or not you're going to be able to go into work the next day or like adhere to the commitments that you have. Like that's not enough time.
No, not at all.
And then you're just on call, which is insane. So the whole week I'm like, I didn't get called in and I was hoping to just like dodge the bullets. 2 days ago, I got a COVID booster, my second booster, I think. I got my second booster. So yesterday I was feeling like puke. Anyway, I go online last night and I check, and they called me in to be in duty today. They called me into duty today. And I was like, no, I don't want to go because I got to do this show, which we already had pushed. We'd already pushed recording this episode because I felt like puke from my COVID booster. So we already pushed it once. And then we got freaking other stuff to do. I have a job. I have a job. I'm sorry, jury duty. Anyway, so then I was on the phone with a robot this morning trying to tell them that I can't go because on the website, both the website and the robot told me that if you have symptoms of COVID, do not show up to the courthouse. And I have symptoms of COVID.
Because of the booster.
Because of the booster. The booster, like the side effects you're experiencing some of the COVID. But they didn't specify that. They just said if you have symptoms of COVID. So, legally, I wonder who they're going to pick to be the jurors at my trial.
Yeah. They're like, so this man did not show up for jury duty. And then you get like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson becomes on your trial. Celebrities
no shot celebrities have to do jury duty.
That's messed up, though. No, of course. I mean, I have only had one jury duty experience that I followed to the letter of the law.
See, Jamie's so much older and wiser than me. I'm not calling you old, Jamie, but you're a lot older. I say like, you're so much older than me. It's not true. Jamie has life experience. And I thought, because this is the first time I've ever got a jury duty summons, I was like, oh shoot, they're going to lock my up if I don't go. So I like did all the things I was supposed to do. I filled it out, which is rare for me because I'm pretty sure there's currently a recall on the model of Jeep that I have.
Oh, I ignore those too.
On the airbags that like if I get into an accident, I'm probably just going to die because the airbag's going to malfunction and send shrapnel into my neck at 200 miles per hour. And I've known about that for months, haven't done anything.
It's such an inconvenience though to like
because they
bring
can't
your car
arrest
back.
me for just choosing to live dangerously. But apparently they can't arrest me for not going to jury duty.
So this is bad. This is bad advice.
Give it to him.
If you never got your notice, and if for those of you listening and not watching, I am doing quotations. You can say, I never got notified. They can't prove that you did or did not receive the notice.
But why would jury duty work that way? Because you can get bills from people that are only in the mail. Like you could get like a hospital bill that's only in the mail. And if you just ignore it and say you never got it, they'll still send you to collections. I guess jury duty is different. It doesn't have to
they
do
can't.
with money,
They can't
so.
send. There's no jury duty police. I mean, I guess it's just the normal police.
I was joking so much last night about what my excuse would be.
They don't care if you can't pay your rent because your job doesn't give you money for missing for jury duty. They don't care. They pay you like $10 a day.
But also, like, why doesn't Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson have to go to jury duty?
Because he probably is like, I have this obligation because I'm Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
God.
I bet you they can always claim like, you know what? I have a charity event.
I'm sorry for ranting about jury duty for so long. What are we talking about?
We're talking about life paths.
I know what we're talking about, Jamie. It's a joke, but it was a great segue into I don't know, just talking about like planning your life and like comparing yourself to other people because it's something that I've done myself a lot, and I think I've talked about it before on the show. Like my dad and my mom are like high school sweethearts. My mom like went to nursing school straight out of high school. Got her nursing degree, became an RN. My dad moved up to Idaho from Southern California, went to school for accounting or something, dropped out of college and started his own company, which is fine. He's very successful. Good for him. All that to be said, as the problem child that moved, I graduated high school. I moved to Virginia, did essentially nothing for a year. Worked in a great Italian restaurant, though. That was fun. Then packed it up and moved to Los Angeles to go to culinary school. And now I work in a production company. I've always felt like I was different and didn't follow the like blueprint, I guess, that the other immediate family members of mine had. And I don't know, I always felt like less than because of it, or like, oh, I'm like different and bad because I did do that. I mean, it's a conversation that me and my girlfriend have had a lot of times too, because she graduated with a degree in biology from a really great university. But then like after she graduated, she was like, I don't know if this is what I want to do with my life. And now she's been like kind of bouncing around, trying some other things like graphic design, stuff like that, like Blender and visual effects and stuff, coding, stuff like that. All that being said, she would get sad because she's like, oh, Trevor, you're so successful. It was a great impression, by the way.
I'm sure Destiny sounds exactly like that.
She's like, you're so successful, and I just feel like I don't know what I want to do with my life. And I had to constantly tell her, like, look, not everybody does this, and that's okay. Like, nobody has to have the same life path. There's not a specific like way that you, even as much as our society and like our capitalist society wants to tell you that there is a specific life path that you have to take, where you go to high school, go to college, get a 9 to 5 job, work for 40 years, and then retire, and as much as they want that to be the blueprint, it isn't, and you don't have to do that.
Like, I was lucky. I knew that I wanted to do something. Like, I actually wanted to be like a hard news journalist. I wanted to be an investigative reporter. I wanted to like go and be my plan was to do that and then be a news anchor and be super professional.
And
then
look at you now.
Look at me now. I'm a wrangler for
oh,
Trevor.
How the mighty have fallen.
No, I literally my first
Trevor's babysitter.
my first internship after college was for a sex podcast. And then I ended up becoming the producer of that and being there for like 5 years. And I realized I don't want to go into news.
Yeah.
And fun fact, when I was interviewing for this job, I had gotten an interview for another position, for another job, and they wanted to offer it to me. And it was going to be news production. And I literally told the person hiring me here, I was like, I have another job offer. I don't want to take it. I want to work for you guys, but I need to know fast. So basically, I think it was Kiko, was like,
yeah,
Trevor, you need to make a decision if you want this person. And thankfully, thank you, Trevor, for picking me. So I did not have to go into that field.
I don't know if we ever told that story at the podcast before, but Kiko, formerly Mythical employee, a lot of people know Kiko. Kiko, I love.
Yeah.
But when we were starting the show, everything was happening very fast, and we were trying to hiring for Jamie's position very quickly. And I remember Kiko was like, "Oh yeah, like we're gonna do all the interview process, make sure they have the skills, and then like, we'll send you some options, and you can do kind of like, little like sit down with them to see if you like vibe with them." And I was like, "Cool, that's great." So anyway, Kiko comes to me. He's like, "Hey, we honestly haven't really found that many people. There's one person that we want you to talk to, but she's really great. And yeah, if you want to just like sit down and have a convo with her, to see if you vibe." And I was like, "Sure." All while I'm under the impression that this is just me like sitting and chatting with a person while like Kiko or someone else professional is there. Like, I had no clue. So anyway, it's like on my calendar. And I just like joined this Google Meet and Jamie's in there. And I'm like, "Hey, I'm Trevor. I don't know where Kiko is." And Kiko did not tell me that I was going to be doing this alone.
I did not know that part.
Kiko did not tell me I was going to be doing this alone. And that it was like an interview. Like for whatever reason, they wanted me to interview Jamie by myself. Like I have any credentials. Like you're putting someone's life in my hands here. And so then I like messaged Kiko. I was like, "Are you coming?" And Kiko was like, "No, it was just going to be you two." And I was like, "Okay, all right." I was like, "Well, it's my time to shine." And I think it went well.
I think so. I felt good afterwards. I messaged Kiko. I was like, "Yeah, I really like him. I think we could do great work." And that's when I got the offer, like was super soon after that interview between me and you.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, I don't want to take this job, but I want to take this Mythical job."
Yeah.
And so I was like, I was like, I'm just going to be transparent here. I have another job offer, but I really want to work for you guys. So if there's any way to figure out if this is going to be a fit in the next. So I had never done this before because I was always like, "Oh, you take a job when you get it."
Yeah.
So when they called me and they were like, they're like, "We're offering you the job." And they're probably thinking like, "Oh, she's going to be so excited." And then I was like, "Oh, that's very cool. Can I take a couple days to think about it?"
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh yeah, of course." But in my head, I was like, I've never done that. And I felt so anxious being like, because then I was like, what if this Trevor kid was like actually,
yeah,
she was the worst. I think we talked about, I don't even remember what we talked about. I know we talked about movies of some sort. And I was like, what if I up?
Did we actually talk about movies? One, there was no substance to whatever I was saying. Because again, I didn't prepare at all for that. Because I was like, I don't know. I didn't think it was going to be me alone. I thought that Kiko was going to be there and like asking you some questions, and then we would just be kind of having a conversation, and then it was just us two alone in a Google Meet, and I'm like in my room, honestly probably playing like RuneScape on my other monitor, just like, "So, what do you like?"
Yeah. It is kind of what it was.
Like, actually, oh my God.
But it all worked out.
It did. No, and I'm really glad. And literally, I mean, I remember after that happened, I was like, "Yeah, she seems really great. Like, we had a great time. We had a great convo." I was like, I don't know if I was supposed to ask her anything like specific, but she seemed really nice, and I liked talking to her. And look at us now. Anyway,
so that's how me and Trevor arrived here.
Yeah, which is so random. I mean, I I moved to LA specifically to go to culinary school.
Yes.
Because I've always loved cooking. But until like 4 weeks before I was actually in culinary school, I had never thought of doing like cooking as a career. I mean, I'd obviously entertain the idea, and I've always thought since I was a kid, oh, it would be so much fun to like own my own little breakfast place, because I like breakfast is my favorite meal. And I was like, it would be so much fun to like own my own little cafe. Like, how cool would that be? But like, never did I think like, oh, I'm going to go to culinary school and start working in restaurants and in the service industry. Then I went to culinary school, and then I started working in restaurants and in the service industry. And then after a year of that, I was like, this is the worst I have ever felt in my life.
Yeah, it's not a great industry.
I'm getting paid $0 to live in one of the most expensive cities in the United States, all while hating myself and being like taken advantage. Okay, also very illegal. At my old job, Dominique Ansel, I'm sorry. I worked 1 to 9, right? That's 8 hours.
Yes.
I worked 1 to 9. I had a set like certain amount of things that I had to do every day for there to be pastries the next day in the bakery.
Yes.
Like if I didn't finish what I had to do, there wouldn't be croissants or there wouldn't be cronuts or whatever. If I didn't finish, if there was like, but like also alongside of like doing things in the back and making pastries, I also had to make sure that the front was stocked with like stuff that's like fresher and easier to make. So if I'm in there on a Saturday and it's really busy and I'm by myself, I have to basically do 2 jobs where I am making things for the front while also doing all of the prep for the pastries for tomorrow.
Yeah.
So then there would be days where I'm like, it's 9 o'clock and things have finally slowed down and the bakery's closing, like, and now I have time, but I still have stuff to do. And I got in trouble for not clocking out and then finishing what I had to do.
So they wanted you to clock out, but then continue to work.
Yes, I got in trouble for taking overtime. And my boss would literally be like, you just like, you have to clock out. We can't clock any overtime. You just have to clock out right at 9 and then finish whatever you have to do. Which is actually against the law.
No, 100%. I'd be like, I'm pretty sure that I'm still working. This is not a salaried job. If you want to pay me salary, we can talk about that.
No, it honestly unreal. And like looking back now, I'm like, wow, I was actually just being taken advantage of. But like also in my head,
because you were like 19, right? Or
Yeah.
20 at the time. 19?
19.
Yeah. So they workers or bosses, they'll be like, they don't know. And as a 19-year-old, you're like, I think this might be normal.
Well,
I don't know.
Also, as a 19-year-old, I'm like, if I don't do this, they could probably just fire me and get someone else to do my job.
Yeah.
But which would also be illegal.
Yeah.
Which I wouldn't know. So anyway, you have a lot of rights as a laborer, and it's important for you to know them so that you don't get taken advantage of. If you ever have a boss, quick Trevor's tips. If you ever have a boss that says that you need to clock out at the 8-hour mark and then continue to do work, that is illegal and you could sue them.
Yes. So
And also, if they want to fire you for not clocking out and then continuing to work, that is also illegal.
build your cases, people. Document everything.
Anyway, what was I saying? I worked at a bakery, and after a year, I wanted to die. And I was literally at the end of my time working at Dominique Ansel Bakery. I was sitting there thinking, I was like, I don't know if this is what I want to do. I was like, I don't know if I want to work in the food industry for the next 40 years. Like I'm sitting there, literally, I'm doing the math, and I'm like, this is the first year that I've been doing this, and I'm already feeling like dead. And I just dropped $1 billion on culinary school.
Yeah.
I can't, like, what am I going to do? And also the internal part of me is like, if I choose to like move back home and do something different, like then I'm just a major disappointment to my parents. Like I don't want my parents to be disappointed with me, and I don't want to be like the failure of a child that's like got moved around the country and done all these different things and ends up just like moving back home and then like getting like a normal job. I don't know. I was very anxious and very scared.
And it's crazy because you're so young. Like
Yeah,
at that point, to feel like your whole life is over almost.
I was 19 when I was
Like
thinking that.
it's so sad, but so many people go through that and it's crazy.
I know. Honestly, if I had like moved back home, I mean, thankfully I would have been in a position probably where I could move back home and be supported by my parents, but like I could have just done anything else.
So did you go straight from the bakery to Mythical, or did you have like a in-between period?
Yeah, I went straight from the bakery. And this is the funniest part. I was very adamant that like, hey, I'd like to give my job that I have now 2 weeks.
Mhm.
Like, I think that that's the professional thing to do. I was like, they've treated me very well, which they hadn't. But in my head, I was like, I'm going to be professional. I want to give them 2 weeks, you know, like
Yeah.
it's what a professional person would do. So I like postponed my start date here and I was like, I'm going to work an extra 2 weeks at bakery. And then I put in my 2 weeks and I told my boss and she had the audacity to look me in the eyes and say, really? Only 2 weeks after everything that I've done for you?
No, she did not.
She asked me to stay on an extra month because it was the holiday. She's like, it's the holiday season and you're leaving now and only giving 2 weeks after everything that I've done.
I'd be like, what was that?
And in the moment, I was sitting there like, I know, I'm so sorry, but this is a really big opportunity. And again, like looking back now, I'm like, oh my God. We're going to talk about different life paths, and I'm here just like fighting for like laborers. Like, don't get exploited as a laborer.
No, this is better. This is good. Like, I mean, this is the thing. When we're young, we enter the workforce not knowing necessarily what our rights are, what we can say no to, that the fact that you can have boundaries with your job, like that's actually okay.
100%.
I always felt like when I was doing my job, I was like, yeah, it's like I'm young, I'm in the weeds, I got to pay my dues. Which
yes.
I've realized that when you don't have boundaries at work and you work for people that aren't always looking out for your best interest, they'll take advantage of that.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like, there's this whole like trend that was going around a little bit ago called like quiet quitting, how like Gen Zers are quiet quitting, which again is the stupidest phrase I've ever heard, which was basically mean for anybody that doesn't know, quiet quitting was when someone only does what is required of their position and doesn't do anything extra.
And they were saying that it was like the worst.
That was like a negative thing.
Like what?
Like, and I get it. Go like, I mean, paying your dues is a real thing, but I think it's been like altered in a negative way where it's paying your dues means getting exploited by people until you know enough to not get exploited, if that makes sense.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Where it's like paying your dues is like, if you want to make a lot of money in a certain field, company, position, whatever, you have to start small and work your way up, which is a normal thing. Like most people don't come out of college and get 6-7 figure jobs. If you want to make that much money, you have to start on the lower end as far as position, depending on, you know, what kind of degree you got or whatever. But generally speaking, you start low and you build up.
Yeah.
That's paying your dues. That's
exactly.
just like working. That is like you work, you get more experience in the field, you get more knowledge in the field, you get more connections in the field, and then you start to see more opportunities and more opportunities for growth. Paying your dues is not being exploited for 5 years until you realize, wait, this is really screwed up. And then you start fighting for yourself and not getting exploited. And then they're like, okay, we'll like give you what you deserve now. That is not. Those are two very different things.
Yes, 100%.
I want to go back to the whole life path thing.
Do you feel like it's this like sunk cost fallacy that you've devoted so much time to a particular field or direction, but you're not happy, but you feel like, well, it'd be such a waste if I changed career paths or direction?
Yeah. I think that's probably what a lot of people go through and a lot of people feel. I mean, I was feeling that sunk cost fallacy for my 2 years in culinary school and 1 year working in a bakery. I was like, I've devoted 3 years of my 19-year-old life to this now or whatever. Like, I have to do this for the rest of my life. Like, that's what I was feeling. I was like, I'm going to be stuck doing this for the rest of my life because this is the path that I chose and I have to stick to it because that's how the world works. But I don't think it is. And I think it also, it's different for every field too. I mean, it's hard to say in like any sort of definitive and overarching way that anyone can do anything that they want because not everybody can be a doctor. Like I couldn't be a doctor.
I could not.
You got to go to like 8 years of medical school to be a doctor. And I respect that. And doctors are great people. And that's one of those paths that, you probably got to go to school for that for 8 years. Not everybody can be a lawyer. But can you go to medical school or to law school when you're in your 30s? Yes. I mean, if you have the bandwidth, if you have the resources and the cushion to do that, you can totally do it. Who knows? Maybe in 10 years, I'm going to be like, man, it would be cool as frick to be a lawyer. And I'm going to go to law school because I'm going to get very passionate about the one time that I got put in jail for 3 days for dodging jury duty. I'm going to be like, this is an injustice that I need to solve. And I'm going to become a jury duty lawyer. Better call Saul there.
Oh my God.
I don't know. There's so much of it that's just like living for when you're old. It's like you got to work hard, for 40 years so that when you're 65, you can retire and live a life of luxury. The frick am I going to do when I'm 65? I don't even know if I'm going to make it to 65. And I don't know. It's this very weird, like, I think that everyone, and also people have different passions. I have passions other than cooking. And like, I would love to at some point in my life do something outside the realm of cooking. And I mean, I kind of do that now, but still, like a lot of my job is based around food. But like, who knows? Maybe in 6 years, I'm gonna be like, man, I want to join the gaming industry.
Yeah.
And do like the business side of gaming or something like that. And I'll go to school at night and get a freaking business degree or something. I don't know. That's something that I could do and that I would maybe want to do in the future. And I don't think that it is bad to look at that as like, that's a positive, I think. I don't think that you should look at yourself potentially changing career paths and I think like, it's not a bad thing. And I think a lot of people get scared of like, they feel like it's starting over, like, oh, I'm starting over if I pick a new thing. I'm starting over. But I don't think it's that way. Because I mean, one, you have a lot more life experience. You have a lot more knowledge. And any employer, I mean, it depends if you like change your field. Like if I went into rocket science and wanted to work at NASA, I'd probably have to start on the ground floor.
Yeah.
But I mean, if I do something else, like even though I've worked at a production company and done mostly food-based stuff, if I went to, say, a gaming org and wanted to join them in a different position, they would probably see whatever experience I had, whether at that point it was like 6 years of experience working at a production company. They wouldn't just be like, oh, he was only cooking, so he has no experience. Like,
yeah, they would look at your whole...
Yeah, they're going to look at the fact that I am someone that is capable and has held down a position and gotten consistent promotions and raises through that position. So it's obvious that I'm a hard worker and that I'm smart and know what I'm doing. And they would look at that and like see me as someone that wants to learn. And like, I think that, I don't know, people get scared of like starting over. I mean, I was scared of starting over when I was 19. I was scared of the thought of like, oh my God, if I switch career paths now, my life is ruined. Like I was literally thinking that. And I don't think it's that way at all.
Change is just scary. The chaos that you know always feels more comforting than something brand new.
Yeah.
Which it could be one of the biggest changes. We also, I feel like we need to be successful in our 20s. But there are so many people, like there was this person who was on different podcasts that I've worked on. He's called The Angry Therapist. And he was working like reading screenplays and in production, and he hated it. And at 37, he decided to go back to school, get his degree so that he can work in therapy, and he became a non-conventional therapist. And that was at 37.
Yeah.
And he's like so happy now. But there's so many stories of that. Like so many people have changed their career path or what they want to do with their life, like even in their 40s. Like you feel like you need to be established by then. You could be established, but you could still change what you want to do.
Yeah. I mean, my dad literally is like one of the perfect examples, because I know I've used it as an example. It's like, oh, this is the right career. This is the right way to live your life. But realistically, my dad went to school at Boise State University for like accounting. And then he never showed up to class. And he went and shot pool at the student union building all day instead of going to class.
Mm.
And then he would just like ace all his exams. And his teacher's like, why are you here? He's like, you don't care. Why don't you just go do something with your life? Like, why do you come? Why are you in college?
Yeah.
So my dad was like, okay. And then he started his first technology company. It's called like, it was called like Nowdisk. And they did something with like, back when instructions for like operating systems
Yeah.
like Windows were all on compact discs.
Yeah.
Anyway, he did that for like a few years, and then he sold that and was like, I'm going to start a technology company called Transite Logic Systems. And they created software that helped investigators like police and detectives
Mhm.
recreate like crime scenes and investigation scenes, like crash scenes. So like they could recreate a car crash to see what happened, like based on like the debris and how things ended up. They could recreate it to help them like see what actually happened and investigate it. Then that technology got bought by some people over in the government. My dad did that, and by the end of that, he was like, God, this is the worst thing ever. I need to get out of this. This is terrible. And then he stopped. And then now he made a lot of money off that, though. And now he owns a cigar lounge and like builds freaking affordable housing buildings in the city that he lives in.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because that's just like a passion of his.
Yeah.
God, how old is my dad? What year is it?
It's 2022.
How old is my mom?
I don't know.
My dad's like 49, I think.
Oh, younger dad.
Yeah, 40. I think my mom's 51 and my dad's 49. Maybe. But anyway, he does that now. And so like he's done he's done everything under the sun at this point. But yeah, I don't think that I think that unfortunately we live in a society and unfortunately money is very important. And
yes,
I will say that you do have to have a lot of the times when you hear these success stories about people that are like, oh, like they just like switched. Martha Stewart didn't write her first cookbook until she was 50 or something like that. I don't know.
That was Julia Child.
Julia Child didn't write her first cookbook until she was 50. It's like, yeah, did she have money? Like money helps a lot when you want to try something new. But hey, if you're working and like you're doing something, like I love what I do now. I can't say that I'm going to love it in 10 years. Who knows? Maybe in 10 years or less than 10 years, I'm going to be like, wow, I hate this and this is draining me and I need to do something else. Hopefully by then I'll have some savings and enough money that if I did want to switch up, I could do something.
Do you know what's kind of crazy to think about is I can't even imagine, because there are certain people who get a job and they love it and they do stay there, or maybe they don't love it, but they just grew with the company. Like my dad started at a company and had been there for over 20 years.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine being at one job, or like obviously he had promotions and throughout that, but I can't imagine that. Like I honestly can't imagine not wanting to switch it up maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I mean, like, that's cool. If you really like it, a lot of times it's not that people really like it. It's just what they know and they just want that steady paycheck and everything. But I feel like nowadays it's almost as if like people are telling me, like at my old job, I was there for almost 5 years. They're like, wow, that's a long time.
Yeah.
And I was like, I guess that's a long time now. But back in the day, 5 years is like nothing in one place.
Yeah.
So I wonder if there's also something to that as the generations go on, that we're always kind of searching for a newness almost.
Yeah. No, I think definitely. I think that I think the norm of finding a job in a field that you went to college for and staying there for 20 years, however long, 40 years until you retire and just like working up through that company. I think that that's just, I don't know. I feel like that is not the ideal.
Mm-hmm.
When it used to be the ideal. I don't know. It's just hard there's no real way to quantify success. I think that
I 100% agree with that.
I think that success used to be based on your status and your money.
Yes.
It used to be based on how high are you in the company that you're at and how much money do you make with that company. And that was for me, success is like, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm not like, I'm living comfortably enough. I don't make an F ton of money, but like I have money to pay bills. I enjoy what I do. And I've got a really cool group of friends and my family's awesome. And like life is good. Like, yeah, I could be making a lot more money right now. And that would probably make me happier because it would be nice to be not as stressed sometimes. But like, I would call myself successful, not from like a monetary standpoint or a title standpoint, but just from a like, I live in LA and I have really cool friends and I make enough money to live here and I like what I do. And that is success to me. And it's funny, I was having a conversation with someone the other day and they were like, if you had $1 billion, what would you do with it? And I was like, that's just too much money.
That's stressful to have that much money. I'd definitely be giving stuff away.
Like if I had $1 billion, I genuinely wouldn't know what to do with it. Cause I don't know. I just don't think like that, I guess. My goal in life isn't to make $1 billion. So I haven't thought about what I would do with $1 billion.
Yeah.
But it's like, that is so much money to me. Like, it's too much. I genuinely wouldn't know what to spend it on. I would just be, and I would be bored probably because like, I like being able to work. I like my job. I like having, a set schedule. I like having a routine. I like the people that I work with. Like, and then he was like, okay, well, what if you had $1 million? And I was like, probably not a lot would change. If I'm being honest, I don't know. I might like
it's crazy.
Upgrade my PC.
Yeah, it might. It's so crazy to me because $1 million is actually like, obviously it is, yes, a lot of money, but it's not like you can't like.
No, I can't like buy a house.
Yeah, you can maybe like literally my parents bought their house for so much less than what they're going to be able to sell it for, which I mean, good for them.
Yeah.
And they've had the house for a while. But at the same time, it just kind of goes to show you that even making like a 6-figure salary, like if you're making $100,000, it used to be, oh my God, that's crazy. And it still is a good salary. But in LA and everything, like you can't buy a house with that. You can't.
Yeah.
And that's so crazy to me how money has changed, like the value of money. Like $1 billion is so much money. It's so many millions.
But then $1
million, you invest some of that. Maybe you
put some in savings.
You maybe give some to your parents or your family or something. They need it. Like,
I mean, literally, that would just be money that would make me be able to do the things that I do now.
The little less
without stress.
Yeah.
That's literally what it is. Because I don't know, my goal has never been like, obviously I want to make money.
Yes.
Obviously everybody wants to make money. Everybody wants to be successful, whatever. But my goal has never been, I don't go to my job every day thinking like, all right, I'm one day closer to getting my $1 million. I'm one day closer to getting this amount of money in my bank account. That's not how I think about it. God, I spend money like an idiot. And maybe it's because I'm freaking bipolar. But like, I don't need money to like, I don't know. It's not like I'm trying to stockpile money like I'm playing RuneScape. In RuneScape, I stockpile money. I'm greedy as frick. I want to do everything I can to make money. It's a video game. I have a couple of friends that had like been working at a company out here as interns, but they were both like from the East Coast. And it was like their last couple of weeks in LA. And we were going out to dinner with them, hanging out. And like, I was just paying for everything. They're like, why are you paying for everything? I was like, I don't know, because I want you guys to have a good time and like not stress about money. And like, I'd rather take you out to like some of my favorite restaurants that might be a little bit more expensive and then pay for it instead of like taking you to a restaurant that isn't as good, but that we split. Like, and I was hurting after that. I was spending too much money.
I do the same, dude, especially, oh my God, if you get a few drinks in me, I'm buying everything for everyone. Oh, yeah. I am just 100%. Like, I mean, like everyone, I bought a round once for everybody. And everyone's like, no, you don't have to do that. I was like, no, I want to. And I realized, I'm like, oh, I'm with like 10 people right now. And I bought everyone a $15 cocktail.
Oh, man. Yeah, I've done that before where I'm like, I like have it in my head. Like I'm out with some friends getting food and drinking. I was like, I'm going to pick up the check tonight. And then I get the check and I'm like,
oh, I really wish I didn't do that.
Dang. I'm like, well, not going to eat for the next 3 days.
I will say that there's also different types of success like that used to be measurable that I don't think should be measurable anymore. Like back in the day, it was like, are you married yet? Do you have kids yet? And that was also like a sign of success. And I'm like, nowadays, no, that shouldn't factor into it at all. Like, having other people in your life you're responsible for is very expensive.
Yeah. No, I mean, literally, and maybe this is just a generational thing. Maybe it is. Maybe it's like a difference in the way that people think. And it sounds so corny to say, but literally my metric of success sounds so bad to say, but is like, do I want to end my own life right now or not?
Oh no.
And it's terrible to think that way, but it's true.
But like, I understand. It's like, to say it like that, some people would be like, oh man. But I do understand that. It's like, do I feel like my life is worth living?
Yeah.
That's success.
I've got really amazing friends. I've got a cool job that I love doing. I've got an amazing family. Like, I'm happy, and therefore I feel like I have made success. Because I think there's a lot of people that probably have a frick ton of money that aren't happy, that they don't have a great group of friends, that they don't have a family that loves them, that they're alone and sad, and they have a ton of money and mountains of it to comfort them, but that are not fulfilled. And I know it's to be clear, money does buy happiness because money buys security.
Yes.
But there gets to a point when you have sacrificed so much to get a lot of money that you have also sacrificed the things in life that truly make you happy.
Yes.
Yes, if I could pay off my medical bills right now in this very moment and not have to worry about them, that would be amazing. I would be much happier and much less stressed. If I could pay off my car, whatever, if I could pay off student loans, like, I would be a lot happier. But that is very small scale stuff. Like, that's like if you put $100,000 in my bank account, I could do that and have $70K left over. And like, that's how much money realistically I would need to take away some of the bigger stressors in my life financially. But like, when you talk about people that have hundreds of millions of dollars, it's like, I don't get it. Like, that wouldn't do anything for me. The most money I can think about spending right now is on upgrading my gaming setup. And like, max, I could probably put like 10K into it to really get it to where it's like the best it can be in that moment.
Yeah, I think most people want to, like, yes, the fantasy of like being super rich. It would be cool, like being able to travel all the time and do all these different things. Sounds great. However, I feel like most people just want enough money to live comfortably, have a place that they can live that's not crappy.
Yeah.
Be able to, go on some vacations here and there and eat out.
Yeah. Eat out, enjoy their hobbies,
and that's it. Like, that's all. I feel people just want to live comfortably, and that's like seems to be such a huge ask.
Yeah, it really does.
It's just f***ed up.
I want to just like go do my job and make enough money to be able to pay bills, hang out with my friends, and play video games.
Exactly. Well,
that's it.
Okay, do your fact.
Oh my God. Okay, fun animal fact. The loudest animal in the world is a 2-centimeter long prawn. The pistol shrimp is capable of snapping its claw shut so rapidly that it creates a bubble which collapses to produce a sonic blast louder than a Concorde's sonic boom. The shockwave can reach 230 decibels, also louder than the sound of a gunshot. The imploding bubble for split seconds also generates temperatures of 4,400 degrees Celsius, nearly as hot as the sun, killing its prey?
Wait, what?
This is the most metal animal of all time. Hold on, I gotta fact check myself because I was just from a random...
That is crazy. So a prawn, something that like you eat. I mean, I guess you eat any animal really, but a prawn you just think is a tiny little shrimp type thing.
It's 2 centimeters long.
It's so tiny. And it's that loud? Is there like a recording?
The prawn is this long, right? How long is 2 centimeters?
Yeah, that's about
2.5 is an inch. So it's like less than an inch long. And now imagine its claw. Its claw has got to be so small, but its claw snaps shut so fast that it creates this tiny little bubble that is 218 decibels loud when it pops.
Oh my God. It says that it is possibly the most dangerous creature on Earth. Imagine if that thing was even double its size.
Could you? That is crazy. That is so crazy. Yeah, if that thing was like the size of like a jumbo shrimp.
Oh my
like,
God.
Could you imagine if I had that power? If I
No.
could just and then just make a gunshot sound and my hand would go to 48. That sounds like a superhero. That is so cool. Wow, what a fun fact. What a great way to end the show. Everybody, important announcement. As you may know, there are midterm elections coming up in November, which is a big deal. A lot of people, when they think elections, they just think presidential, but that is not the case. There are a lot of really important elections happening. So Vote Like a Beast is back. VoteLikeABeast.com is a website that we created basically to just help you navigate voting. So you can go there to check your voter registration status. You can go and check and see if you've already voted. And then there's also just a lot of information on elections and candidates so you can keep yourself informed. It's a really amazing tool that's really helpful and simplifies a lot of it and puts it into like one place so that you don't have to spend hours online looking up articles and reading things. So definitely go check out votelikeabeast.com. We're also selling stickers over there, and 100% of the profits from that are going to vote.org, which is another resource that basically helps everyone in America exercise their right to vote. They're a really great company and definitely deserve all the support. So go check out votelikeabeast.com right now to stay informed on all the election stuff going on in November. Anyway, thank you for listening to Trevor Talks Too Much. Definitely talk too much today. Check the episodes out every Tuesday wherever you get your podcasts, and then the video version the following Monday. Leave a review, leave a comment, leave a message in my DMs telling me how beautiful I am. And yeah, follow me and on social media, and go check out TikTok. We got some TikToks over there, Mythical Pods. I think have a great day. Don't get exploited by your boss. Understand your rights.
And conveniently lose your jury duty summons.
Don't go to jury duty because that's stupid.
It's bad advice. Don't.
Terrible advice. Don't listen to my advice ever. Unless it's good advice, then listen to it. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.